Good day, everyone. We are Team Indigo, and together with my group mates, Antoinette Werva, Kathleen Wanezar, Eljan Popular, and Aliana Jade Pineda, we will be presenting to you our chosen technopreneurs and the things we can learn from them, starting with the local ones.
First, on our list of local technopreneurs, we have Leandro Leviste. Leandro Leviste came from a prominent family. His mother is Lauren Lagarda and his father is Tony Leviste. I'm sure most of you are familiar with the names of his parents. Leandro did not follow the footsteps of his parents in politics. Instead, he decided to pursue entrepreneurship in Yale University, but unfortunately, he decided to drop out later. According to an interview, despite dropping out of the prestigious school, he doesn't have any regrets and he is happy of making that decision. At 23 years old, he founded Solar Philippines, wherein his company provides solar power in the business place. Through family connections, he was able to start up his company, spending about $100 million in bank loans, building solar farms, and rooftop panel systems. For the takeaway, as long as you have a dream and a will to achieve it, you will be able to reach your dream. Just like Leandro, who was determined to start a company, as potential entrepreneurs, we should also be wise enough to value connections. I believe that building relationships is important. Our businesses will be supported by those who trust us. So start small with friends and family, and then better and bigger connections will follow.
So next up, we have Joey Gorango. Joey Gorango is the chairman of the Capiz ICT Council and co-founder of Servio, a technology startup located in the Pueblo de Panay township of Rojas City. So Joey had to go through bankruptcy and loss of programmers, and his first real business was a pizza delivery. So Joey started his IT career at Apple Computers as a support engineer for Lalisa Computer, then at Microsoft as a programmer for Excel. He moved back to the Philippines in 1991 to start Match Data Systems, or MDS, which he sold to Great Plains Software in 1999, then was acquired by Microsoft in 2001. Joey has been inducted into the Microsoft Hall of Fame for its most valuable professionals and acknowledged by the Philippine Center for Entrepreneurship as one of the country's 10 most inspiring technopreneurs. In 2017, IT and Business Process Association of the Philippines recognized him as an industry luminary with the Azure Flair Award. So the takeaway, business is a double-edged sword. It offers great opportunity for money making, but there is always a risk for bankruptcy. Joey experienced bankruptcy, but it didn't stop him from taking another step in the business world. We may experience downfalls, but what's important is how we deal with it and with its aftermath, that we get to learn something and that we become stronger and better.
Our third local technopreneurs is Rachel Devella. Devella is a graduate of computer science degree in the University of Philippines in the year 2013. And she is a multi-awarded software engineer that has the skills of developing capable platforms and building technological innovations. She received awards and recognition such as Women in Business Startup of the Year by ASEAN and the youngest entrepreneur to be part of the Forbes. Together with her co-founder, she created an award-winning finance agricultural startup in the Philippines, the Cropital. Cropital is a financial platform for smallholder farmers. It is the first crowdfunding platform that allows individuals to place low-cost sustainable agricultural investment, which in turn enable poor farmers to have access to scalable and sustainable financing. The purpose of this platform is to reduce poverty, promote inclusive growth, and ensure food security. For our takeaway, agriculture is the most neglected sector in our country, and most of the farmers are below the poverty line. We are inspired by the initiative of this woman to help farmers to be empowered, not be left out, and able to improve their way of living. And it shows that women can go beyond and can do what other men can do. And the following slides will be the list of our chosen global technopreneurs.
So let's start with Jan Koom. So Jan Koum is a Ukrainian-American businessman and computer engineer. He is the co-founder and the former CEO of WhatsApp, a mobile messaging app that was acquired by Facebook in 2014 for 19.3 US billion dollars. Born into a humble family in Ukraine, to the United States. He migrated to the United States as a teenager with his mom and grandmother. His initial years in the new country were very difficult. The family struggled to meet to make ends meet. The situation worsened when his mother became ill with cancer and eventually passed away. Bachenko was a resilient soul. He worked his way through high school, and in 1997 he began working for Yahoo as an infrastructure engineer while attending college. In 2014, he together with his coworker at Yahoo, Brian Acton, launched WhatsApp. So our takeaway for this is poverty is not a hindrance to achieving one's goals and dreams. All that's needed is the drive to pursue them. This is a popular quotation in education, but we can also apply this to business endeavors. Genko proved that his origin and circumstances did not hinder him from launching one of the leading messaging apps up until now.
So next we have Cian Parker. Cian Parker, born on December 3, 1979 in Virginia, is the son of a TV advertising broker and an oceanographer in the US government. At the age of 7, he already learned computer programming from his father. So he became interested in computers at an early age, and he was even arrested at the age of 16 for hacking into the computer network of a major corporation. He then worked with Napster, a big file sharing site on the internet. Parker primarily was the first president of Facebook, as he was extraordinarily an expert in developing the program. So according to Mark Zuckerberg himself, Parker helped to transfer Facebook from a college project into a real company by giving advice. Parker also founded Airtime.com, a real video chat site with his fellow Napster. He was also interested in music, and so he invested in Spotify in 2010. At present times, Parker is a venture capital investor and a philanthropist. Our takeaway from this is skills are learned and are not something we are born with. Cian had interest in computers from an early age, so he learned it and eventually thrived in this field. He got involved in some serious hacking incidents, but later in life, he was able to put his skills to good use, became successful with it, and even became a philanthropist, which also tells us that we are learning from our mistakes. We should also remember to pursue our interests and our passion.
For the last global technopreneur, we have Kevin Rose. He enrolled in the University of Nevada, Las Vegas after graduating from Vo-Tech High School. He decided to begin a career that he was passionate about, and that was after he dropped out of university in 1998. Rose started making connections with important people in Silicon Valley. In the meantime, he began hosting a show called The Screensavers and was able to meet Steve Wozniak, the co-founder of Apple Computers. For his contributions, he created Dig after being motivated by the stories he heard from Steve Wozniak. Dig is a social media platform for discussing news and related subjects. He is also a co-founder of Revision 3, a web program that airs on the internet, Pounds, a blogging service, and Milk, a mobile development lab, were both established by him. He is also a Google, Twitter, and Facebook venture partner. For our takeaways from the experiences of Kevin Rose, in order to succeed, communication skills plays an important role because it will allow us to build connections with people who have more experience in the field that we are about to go into. These people could serve as our mentors and could provide us with just the right amount of motivation that we need to push through. When Rose started his career, he was unsuccessful, but despite that, he still persevered. That is why grit is also very significant because we are bound to face setbacks, but we should have the perseverance to achieve our long-term goals. That ends our presentation on the local and global technopreneurs. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I will transfer the hosting to assignment. Okay,
Hello, visible na ang
Yes,
screen
Jib.
namin.
Michelle.
So good afternoon, everyone. We are Team Violet, and in this presentation, we will be talking about technopreneurs in the Philippines and around the world. So for an overview of today's discussion, next slide, please. We will be talking about Patch Dulay, Rachel De Villa, and Leandro Laviste for our Filipino technopreneurs. And for our global technopreneurs, we have Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, and Bill Gates. So first, we have Patch Dulay. So Patch Dulay is the founder and CEO of the Spark Project. He is a startup enabler. He is both the founder and CEO of the Spark Project, an online community and financing platform for socially conscious businesses. He finished his undergraduate degree in Management Information Systems at Ateneo de Manila University in 2005. He then completed his master's degree in global e-business at the University of Lille, France in 2010. He received his master's degree in entrepreneurship, social enterprise and development from the Ateneo Graduate School of Business in 2020. His enthusiasm for education and entrepreneurship pushed him to support entrepreneurs by providing them with tools that help them turn their business ideas into reality as a lifelong student and teacher. He has worked with and mentored a number of creative startups and social enterprises over the last 10 years, as well as developed and implemented programs for large organizations such as Ayala Land Incorporated, Clock In, Globe Telecom, the La Salle College of St. Benilde, the U.S. State Department, and the UN Development Program. Our main takeaway from Patch Dulay is that the Philippines actually have products that can compete with the global market. We have seen products of our own emerging in a market that we thought was too hostile as they had to fight through bigger funded foreign brands. But they compete with their marketing machines and amplify the campaign to support local products. Products such as handcrafted canvas bags, craft beer, woven textile for home use, wooden carved shoes and timepieces. These are just some of the things we can already see in malls and stores. But what sets these products apart from their iterations is that they have a community to support and a community that was willing to fuel their crusades. And all they needed was a spark.
Next up is Rachel De Villa, who is a full stack software engineer and social entrepreneur. She is also the founder and CTO of Capital. Capital is a crowdfunding platform that helps finance our local farmers. She graduated from Quezon City Science High School and obtained a computer science degree at UP. Next, please. Capital runs a platform that gives farmers access to scalable and sustainable financing through the crowd. It enables the public to help finance local Filipino farmers and gain returns at the same time. The farmers get to develop their operations with the aim of increasing their margins, while investors get a nominal return and the satisfaction of helping an often marginalized group. Our main takeaway is that technopreneurship has a large scope of application as it is not only focused on ICT, internet, electronics, and economy, but also has its fair share of usefulness in the agricultural department.
Third and last Filipino technopreneur is Leandro Laviste. He is both the founder and CEO of Solar Philippines. Leandro was just 20 years old when he invested in Tesla and Solar City, known as the two American companies that specialize in solar panel production. It was during his second year and third years of politics at Yale where he saw an opportunity in our country after learning that the Philippines has one among the highest electricity costs in Asia, and he was certain that solar energy could help reduce it. Now, Solar Philippines is Southeast Asia's biggest solar company with more than 1,000-person team developing and 10,000 hectares of the country's most cost-competitive sites for large-scale solar. The mission of their company is to lower the electricity costs to improve the lives of the Filipinos. Solar Philippines started by helping out large businesses to lower their costs so they can pass on those savings to their tenants and customers. Sorry. Our takeaway from this is that age is not a hindrance and you have to take risks on things that you have trust on. Also, there are a lot of things that you can contribute, especially in helping your Filipino people.
So Elon Musk has been discussed by the previous group. So I'll discuss him in a more summarized manner. So as of February 2022, Elon Musk is the richest person in the world. He was born in South Africa, but later left the country to Canada thanks to his Canadian citizenship, owed to his Canadian mother. At age 12, he was known to be smarter than his teachers and was very well versed with technology. He has a bachelor's in physics and studied in Stanford for his PhD, but dropped out after 2 days to start his business. In 2002, eBay bought PayPal, which is something that he started for a considerable sum of $1.5 billion. He then invested that fortune to SpaceX, Tesla Motors, and Solar City. Next slide, please. Okay, so Musk is also the founder of the electric car company Tesla Motors, whose main goal was to produce sustainable electric cars and is currently the CEO of Tesla. Musk's greatest contribution, however, is SpaceX, which centers on space exploration, mainly centered on Mars colonization. SpaceX is also an American aerospace manufacturer, a provider of space transportation services, and a communications corporation that had launched advanced rockets and spaceships to outer space. Also, recently, the Ukraine minister had reached out to him for access to their Starlink satellite internet services. And just today, user terminals had arrived at Ukraine, and Starlink is already activated in Ukraine to help Ukrainians not get disconnected from the world as they battle with Russia. So our main takeaway for this technopreneur is that Elon Musk is a very confident, analytical, and ambitious man. He started his dreams with hopes of changing the world to a more sustainable living. However, Tesla's electric car is very expensive, more expensive than your regular fuel-powered cars. Thus, his vision is often perceived as marginalized to the rich only. However, giving him the benefit of the doubt, because we should give him the benefit of the doubt because he's always very quick to respond to calls of help from nations when in times of helplessness.
Next on the global technopreneurs is Mark Zuckerberg, which is his full name is Mark Elliott Zuckerberg, born on May 14, 1984, United States, is an American computer programmer who founded and ran Facebook, a social networking site. Zuckerberg dropped out of Harvard to focus on the budding firm, of which he became CEO and president. The Facebook.com, which was renamed Facebook in 2005, was a directory where fellow Harvard students submitted their own information and photographs into a template that he created on February 4, 2004. Next slide, please. And his biggest contribution is Facebook, in which it's received its first significant influx of venture financing in May 2005. And over the years, high school kids were able to sign up for Facebook. As a result, international schools and institutions began to sign up, and by September 2006, anybody with an email address could join in any of the regional networks. Now, Zuckerberg's net worth was estimated to be more than $19 billion after Facebook's first public offering of stock in 2012. So our takeaway from Mark is you should not expect positive results and success without making your product great. No matter what, it is important to understand the product and work on it. That being said, we have learned that being a tech entrepreneur is not found on the stroke of luck, but in determination and product knowledge, which is an essential skill one must acquire.
Next, William Henry Gates, or also known as Bill Gates, was born on October 28, 1955 in Seattle, Washington. He was an American business magnate, software developer, philanthropist, investor, and an author. Furthermore, during his career, he held different positions in the company as chairman, chief executive officer, president, and chief software architect. In 1970s until 1980s, he was a major entrepreneur of the microcomputer revolution. Next, Microsoft was started by Gates and his childhood friend Allen, which grew to become the world's largest personal computer software company, where in May 2014, this company was being tagged as the largest individual shareholder. Gates resigned from his roles on the boards of Microsoft and Berkshire Hathaway in March 2020 to focus on his charitable initiatives, which include climate change, global health and development, and education. Bill Gates became the fourth richest person in the world as a result of his hard work and dedication, and he has been on the Forbes list of the world's wealthiest people since 1987. Later in his career and after leaving Microsoft's day-to-day operation in 2008, Gates has pursued a variety of entrepreneurial and philanthropic projects. He also founded and served as the chairman of the many firms, including BEN, Cascade Investment, BGC3, and TerraPower. Our takeaway for Bill Gates is that in order to achieve our dreams, we need to have a clear goal and focus on things that we can do. And always remember that no matter how hard life is, never give up because there is a right time for you to shine. So that ends our presentation. Thank you and have a good day.
Okay, thank you everybody. Would like to make mention the groups that based on their presentations, the layouts and everything, it was well planned, well researched, and especially on how they expand on the takeaways of each of the technopreneurs. Now, we're not really into learning how they become what they are because it's a common denominator for all of them. I think everybody will agree that they have this innate capacity to think outside of the box. Now, it's a gift. They are not limited to what is being taught in school because some of them, or shall I say a greater, more than 50% of them, those that are really successful, beyond average, are, shall I say, did not finish the usual college of education, but they have propelled to much greater heights because they are not limited to what just is given to them in the four corners of the classroom. So they are very inquisitive. They are very, shall I say, observant of the needs, of the things that needs to be improved, and that is why they are now who they are. So later in our discussion, you will learn the different types of innovators, and you can think of these personalities again that were shared just now and probably think of which of the follow of those kinds they fall into or what category they fall into based on the things that they have invented or they have visionalized for us. So another thing is that they are all visionaries, right? They have this vision of creating something that haven't been yet thought of by the greater majority, and they are not afraid to risk, let's say, capital, or they're even not afraid of losing, or they are not afraid of not being successful at the very beginning. So they intend to pursue their dreams or their, what shall I say, their objective or what it is that they're going to make no matter what. So that is how they became what they are now. So I hope that you have learned something from those persons. I think there's still a lot. There's a commonality in each of the groups. So I think there isn't any group whose personalities does not have something in common with another. But there's still a lot of technopreneurs, probably not as as successful as those that you have shared, but they have their own story to tell. So we don't limit our learnings from those that have been shared. We read, especially now that you have a lot of time also. When you want to read, then read on those personalities that you can learn from. Not only from technopreneurs, but personalities that you can learn the other facets of life, not just making more money or not just making uh, yourself successful in your defined area or sphere of influence. Plus, I need to stop recording here, and then you need to be logged in on Zoom because I will have to make another um, recording for the lesson that I'm going to share today. So I'm going to stop recording here for now and stop